You ever wonder why you're spending all this money on branding and marketing and you don't feel like any of it is landing? In this video, we're going to talk about the missing piece. Have you ever heard of someone building a house and they start with the roof? No, right? You've never heard of anyone who they said, I want to build a house, and first I'm going to pick how I'm going to build the roof. We're going to design the roof first and then work our way down. No, that's not usually how people go about the process of building a house. But a lot of you with your marketing are doing exactly that. Instead of building the house from the foundation up, you're doing it the other way around. And you're focusing on putting the roof on top of the house that barely exists, it's barely standing, and that's how you're going about your marketing. I say all that to say, marketing is like building a house. First, we're gonna build the foundation, and then we're gonna stack on top of the foundation, and that's how we're gonna be left with a solid structure, right? That supports the second and third and fourth and fifth floors. And then we're gonna finally put the roof on top. That's gonna be the cherry on top. And a lot of this might sound like common sense, but common sense isn't that common. So let me tell you about a client who decided to invest $10,000 on a rebrand. I had another client who invested $15,000 on a new website. We got to talking, we started trying to figure out where are things off. How am I gonna come in and help them build a solid structure that supports the rest of their business, right? Sales and operations and everything else. And I start asking them questions. Before we ask ourselves, what's gonna be my color palette, and how many pages is the website gonna have, and what's the logo gonna look like? Before we spend a ton of money in those areas, we wanna have clarity on our brand message, right? The brand message is one of the foundational pieces of building your brand. And so you absolutely do not want to skip that part. When we don't spend time developing the brand message, we don't have a clear picture on what is it that we sell, what problem does it solve, and who does it solve it for. When we don't have a clear brand message, we're kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? We have maybe the puzzle picture, we're just missing the individual puzzle pieces that are gonna help us bring it all together. So this is why the brand message is the very first place to start when you're building your brand, when you're building a trusted brand. The brand message is not just about how do we want to be perceived, but with developing the brand message, we also want to have a clear picture on how do we want people to feel when they interact with our brand. And interacting with your brand is not just, oh, I really like your logo and I really like the colors. Interacting with your brand also has to do with emotional pull. What do people feel when they come in contact with you? What do your products and services leave people feeling? Do they feel relieved? Do they feel like they have more confidence? Do they feel like they have more control? Brand message is not just your colors and your logo. Brand message is, what is that emotional pull? What is that clear message that we want to communicate? So once we have a defined brand message, then we can talk about how do we market this message? How do we get it across to the right people? How do we get in front of the right people? The people who need this solution to the problem that they're facing. That should drive the decision making in the other phases. So when you're asking yourself, what are the brand colors and what channels are we gonna market in, you shouldn't be guessing at that point. When you have that brand message as the foundation, the other decisions to make about the color palette and the logo, etc., are all a lot easier to make because now they're rooted in that message that you want to get across and who does it have to reach and have that emotional pull that's strong enough to get them to take action. Let's break this up into 3 parts. The first part I want to talk to you about is the importance of letting strategy lead design. If you are picking your color palette for your branding based on your personal preferences, based on what the neighbor and the cousin and what everyone else has to say about your colors, chances are you are unclear as to who you want to reach, right? So that's part one. Strategy leads design. If you skip that part, chances are you're gonna miss the mark. Your branding is not gonna land with the right people. And that means you're gonna be leaving money on the table. It's gonna be harder to convert those potential leads and then into clients. To give you an example, let's talk a little bit about Jaguar. Yes, the luxury car brand. So I'm not sure if you know, but Jaguar went through a rebrand recently, right? And it wasn't just the logo and it wasn't just the colors. Their whole marketing campaign, their whole launch for this rebrand was absolutely different than anything they had done before. And this is a brand that has been around for a very long time. And I guess you could argue that they missed the mark. There was a lot of noise on social media. There was a lot of buzz. People were clowning the brand, saying the rebrand looked like they are trying to sell luxury goods, but not exactly a car, maybe more in the fashion side of things. And some people could argue that they missed the mark. I am going to argue that what they wanted to do with this rebrand was not just go for a different look and feel. They wanted to make a splash. And this was all about relevance. Because they've been around for so long, their clients are probably starting to phase out of the market, right? We're probably seeing some people that are passing away, or maybe some people that are downsizing, right? So if the baby boomers and the older millennials are now not really buying into Jaguar, the brand that they once loved, because it's not as practical for their everyday living, then how do they get in front of Gen Z, that coveted audience that all the brands are flocking to? How do they build relevance with them? They make themselves the center of attention by rebranding into something that is completely out of the box, something that really gets people talking. And that's exactly what this campaign did. That's exactly what this rebrand did. So the next time you think that a rebrand is only about the colors and the logo, think big picture, just like the big brands, right? Especially if your goal is to be playing in the big leagues. Think like the big brands. The brands like Jaguar that are really taking risks and seeing branding as more than their logo and their colors and their website. And their goal is really more here about relevance and staying top of mind. Part 3 that I'm gonna cover is all about messaging. Your brand message is more than words on paper. It's more than the colors of your website. It's more than the designs that you use. It's more than your logo. I say that because a lot of people are buying branding and rebrand services thinking that this is all about visual aesthetics. And the truth is here that it's deeper than that. So messaging is how people think about you when you're not in the room. What are the things that they're saying about you to their friends and family once they purchase from you, once they become a client of yours? At the root of this, what I'm saying is people don't buy what you are selling. It's not the service that they want. It's not the product that they want. They are buying a solution to their problem. So your brand messaging has to be spot on. Does it save people money? Does it save people time? Does it save people from making costly mistakes? Does it make them move faster, right? Think about what your products and services do for people beyond the features, beyond how good the packaging is. So before you spend another dollar on rebranding or even on marketing, stop to ask yourself, do I have my brand messaging on paper? Is it clear? Is it strong? Is it speaking to the right person? And if the answer to that question is no, or I'm not sure, then do not spend another dollar on branding or marketing. Get yourself a consultation with a brand specialist or a marketing consultant who can guide you in the right direction. Remember, you want to build from the foundation up, right? Before we put the roof on the house, we have to have a solid foundation that we can stack on and build on. So before you spend another dollar on an entire rebrand or a whole new website, I want you to equip yourself with knowledge, with insight, with expert insight from a marketing specialist, a branding specialist, a marketing consultant. If that's an area you're looking for help in, check out the description so we can chat more. And if you enjoyed this video, see you in the next one. I'm Nadia Ramos, Brand and Marketing Growth Consultant. I help experts, coaches, and consultants like you turn your knowledge into high-impact brands that drive demand and growth. So follow along, subscribe to the channel, keep an eye out for more content.